Hey guys, welcome to my Theorycrafting video where today I'm going to be talking about a dexterity focused backline build for Siege Wars and open world PvP in New World. Before I get into the video, I just want to say that my last video was like heavily scripted. Like I had almost every word written out and it sounded kind of bad. So this time I just got like some notes down and I'm just going to kind of freely talk a bit more rather than like solidly keep into a script. So we'll see how that goes. So let's get into the video here. I want to first go over the job of the build. Being a backline dex focus build, it's going to be focused on dealing AoE damage, and it's also going to be helping defend the backline with damage and CC. As this is a dex focused build, our weapon choices are going to be coming down to a bow and spear because their main stat is focused in dexterity, and I think spear is a substat of strength. Yep. So our main stat is going to be dexterity. You would probably want to cap this out at 300 or higher. You want a secondary stat of constitution to give yourself some more beef, so you're not entirely squishy and you can survive longer in fights. With the bow, we've chosen the bow because it gives us a lot of backline AoE damage and range pressure. The spear, it's for defending backline with damage and CC. I'm going to go over the bow first. So I'm just going to go over the skills that I've chosen. So we've gone with poison shot, rain of arrows, and penetrating shot. Let's first go over poison cloud. So poison cloud, you will shoot an arrow, and where that arrow lands or the target that it hits, it will then create a poison cloud with a 3-meter radius that lasts for 10 seconds. Foes that enter the cloud are poisoned for 20 seconds, dealing 10% of your weapon damage per second. Now, I believe the poison is an actual debuff that might linger on you, whether if you are in the cloud or not. So the cloud lasts 10 seconds, but the debuff can last up to 20 seconds. We got both of its passives. The poison shot deals 12% damage instead of 10%. And it still lasts 20 seconds. And the last shot, direct hit. So with the actual arrow itself that you fire, the arrow itself will deal 200% more damage. So you want to try and actually land this skill, not really aim it at ground, but you want to try and hit a target with it, because then it will do the 200% more damage. And then the AoE will be off of that target. It won't. I don't think it will follow the target around, but I mean, it'd be really cool if it did. Hey, but I think it would just leave the field where it hits the target. Next skill we got here is Rain of Arrows. Shoot a barrage of arrows with a 7-meter radius, dealing 150 weapon damage. Now, I'm not sure if the Rain of Arrows is like an AoE that has a duration on it that lasts on the ground, and it does that 150% weapon damage over that time, or if it's literally just like, you know, one Rain of Arrows going down instantly, doing 150% damage. So we have both of Rain of Arrows passives, the first one being that Rain of Arrows causes bleed, dealing 85% weapon damage over 12 seconds. Max 3 stacks. So when it says max 3 stacks here, that kind of confirms to me that this Rain of Arrows is actually more of a duration skill. So it'll be an AoE that like lasts on the ground for a while and it'll keep hitting. And the last passive here we have is Hooked Arrows. So Rain of Arrows causes a 30% slow for 12 seconds. Now, I'm too lazy to kind of go and check the patch notes, but I'm pretty sure that this skill has been nerfed to about 10 or maybe 20% slow instead of 30, because 30% slow is quite a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is definitely nerfed. And the last skill that we have here is Penetrating Shot. Shoot an arrow dealing 150% weapon damage, and it passes through targets and continues for 100 meters. So with this skill in mind, I'm still kind of classing it as an AoE because it can hit multiple targets. Now, it's not really an area of effect, but I'm kind of classing it as one because, you know, in a siege war, you know, 50v50, there's quite a lot of people around. If you can line up penetrating shot to go through and hit multiple targets, dealing 150% weapon damage, then that's insane. I think that's pretty good. I think it's a lot better option to deal AoE damage than our other two skills here. Bloodsoaked Arrow is the passive here, increasing the damage by 10% for each hit, up to 50%. Now that's a lot, because if you do manage to go hit 5 targets, that's 50% extra damage on top of the skill there. And then Penetrating Shot deals 20% more damage to targets 20 more meters away. Now, where you're going to be in the backline with the bow, you're pretty much guaranteed to always be, you should be about 20 meters away from your target anyway, so I think you're always guaranteed to have this 20% extra damage. As you can see, I haven't actually gone for any of the ultimates here. Leg shot has been heavily nerfed, I think. I think it only causes like a 20% slow now. I'm not sure about the duration, but this skill anyway just isn't really ideal because it forces you to kind of specifically aim for people's legs rather than like trying to hit their head or chest. I'm not really sure if there's any damage difference between between chest and legs, but for headshots, there's definitely a multiplier. So this skill is kind of like, you know, it's not very attractive. And then concussion here, when you land a headshot, you deal 20% more damage. And I mean, it says with a 0% chance to get your arrow back, but I think that's just a bug on the website, and it's probably like a 50% chance or something. But again, this skill, it's quite inconsistent because you're not always guaranteed to get headshots. Unless you're like really, really, really good at the game, then you can probably maybe look at taking this. But for now, I think that the ultimates are just not very good, and it's better to take some other passives. Talking about the passives, we're just going to go over them really quickly. So we have, after you dodge, you deal 20% more damage for 5 seconds. Hitting a foe below 50% health reduces the foe ability recharge by 5%. Now, if hitting a foe below 50% health, if this doesn't have an internal cooldown, and you're starting to hit multiple people with rain of arrows under 50%, if that's going to tick at like 5% at each hit, then this is actually quite wrong because you're going to be reducing the cooldowns like very, very often. So I think that this passive is very strong. After you dodge, you gain 20% haste for 5 seconds. Now, this doesn't say that as an internal cooldown, and this also synergizes with the evasive tactics. So when you dodge, you gain 20% damage, and you also gain 20% haste. So you can move faster and reposition. Deal 10% more damage to foes suffering from a debuff. Now, in a 50-50 siege war, in a bomb, where you're going to be placing your skills anyway, there's like a 99% chance that your target will have a debuff, so you're always going to be gaining this 10% extra damage, which is great. So I'm going to move over to the other tree now. Dealing 20% more damage to foes at least 10 meters away. Now, again, being in the backline, you're always going to be 10 meters away, so you'll always benefit from this. Heavy attacks, arrows fly faster and deal 30% more damage. Now, when you're aiming down sights on a bow and you're fully charging your arrow, I believe that is a heavy attack, so you should always be gaining 30% extra damage from there. If your target is below 50% health, deal 20% more damage. This is actually quite of a generous, considering that other traits and other weapons are like below 30% HP and you deal X amount more damage. But this one's below 50%, which is quite good. And receive 20% less damage whilst aiming. So again, you're going to be aiming down sights, dealing damage with your bow quite a lot of the time. So it's nice to have the 20% like protection buff from this trait. It's very nice. Increases arrow distance before start of gravity. So what this is like, so when you're firing a bow, it will go straighter for longer, basically, right? Because, well, you know, an arrow will naturally want to, you know, go down, right? So this helps land more shots from further away. And then lastly, we have bullseye. So bow arrow critical chance increased by 10%, just a flat critical chance increase, which is great. So that wraps up for the bow, really. There isn't really much options that you could really take, I think. Yeah, so we're going to move next on to our second weapon, which is Spear. So I'm going to go over the skills first that I've taken. So we've got Cyclone, Sweep, and Perforate. Yeah, I'm going to go with Perforate. English is hard, I know. So I'm going to go over Cyclone first. Spin attack that deals 100% weapon damage, pushes back 3 meters, and applies a 50% slow for 3 seconds. Why I chose this skill is because if foes are pushing the backline, you can peel for people by pushing them back with this skill. Restore 25% 25 stamina per hit, and Grit is now active when this attack, making your attack unstoppable. So this skill is now always guaranteed to go off. When you use the skill, it's, you know, a guaranteed pushback, which is what we would like. Next skill is Sweep. Sweep the target's legs, dealing 75% weapon damage and knocking them down. Again, this is very good for when people get close to you or push a backline. You can peel for people by CCing them further. Grit is now active on this attack, just like Cyclone, so this will make it like a guaranteed knockdown. And then you've got Coup de Grace here. Doing a basic attack during Sweep will follow up with a downwards attack that will deal 125% weapon damage. So you can knock them down and then follow up with a light attack and just, you know, punish that player more. And then we've got Perforate. A quick 3 piercing strikes that deal 70% weapon damage and apply rend. reducing target's damage absorbed by 5% for 10 seconds. So the main reason that I take this skill is because it's 3 attacks that each apply rend. So you will be putting on a 3 stacks of rend. I think rend can stack up to 5 times, and then they'll be taking 15% more damage for 10 seconds. Rend increased to 10% per strike against targets above 50% HP. So if you do this on someone that's above 50% HP, they will get 30% rend instead of 15. And then target is if you land all 3 strikes, then the target is staggered. This is good. So you would probably do a sweep, coup de grace, perforate, and then other people will then come in and help you DPS. That's what I'm envisioning with there really quickly, and then you can use cyclone to push people back. The ultimate here is 15% damage debuff on the target. This is absolutely amazing damage modifier. There's so much. I think there's quite a lot of debuffs in the game. You got like poison, different types of bleeds, rend, burning. There's probably a couple of others as well. But each of these individual debuffs will add 15% damage to your spear. So, if an enemy pushes into you in the backline, they'll probably have rend from either you or a healer or a mage, burning, poison, bleeding, and yeah, you're just going to punish people really hard with this. So that's why I've chosen this ultimate and put quite a lot of passives into this tree. Speaking of the passives, we're just going to go over them very quickly. I'll start over here. 10% damage on consecutive heavy attacks against a single target. Now, this first passive, also with 10% increased critical chance against people that are 3 meters away. If this spear's basic attacks and light attacks are 3 meters, which I don't think they are, but I could be wrong. If they are, I would take this, but since then I don't think they are, then I took this one instead. It's just basically a filler trait. It's not amazing, but it's a filler. Sorry, I keep saying trait, but I mean passive. So it's just a filler passive just to get to the next skill, right? Restore 20% stamina on critical hits. This is great because that's quite a lot of stamina. I was considering running 30% stamina when you're 30% stamina regen when your stamina is below 50% health, but this is completely turned off if your stamina is above 50% health. So I think invigorating crit is a stronger trait to take. Moving over to the other tree here. So we've got 5% critical chance on light attacks, just a crit chance multiplier. All spear cooldowns are reduced by 10% on the second hit of a light attack chain. So yeah, after you've used your skills and your light attacking, this will just help get your skills back up and running. The last hit of a light attack chain applies a 30% slow for 3 seconds on targets below 30% HP. 20% damage against targets with active grit. This trait is not going to see a ton of use since you won't really see like a lot of grit. But again, much like this trait up here, it is a filler trait so that we can so that we can get down here. The first successful hit with an ability within 2 seconds of a dodge reduces all spear cooldowns by 2%. So ideally what you want to do is dodge and then use perforate and sweep or whatever, because then that would just help reduce the cooldowns of all the skills. Get back up really early. 50% critical chance against targets with bleed. Now, I'm pretty sure this can be any bleed. It doesn't say otherwise. So it can be a bleed from someone else or yourself on your bow. Yeah, that should be a free 50% crit chance. Critical hits extend duration of spear debuffs by 2 seconds. So my idea with taking this is that it's mostly focused on the rend from perforate. So you got, what's it? Yeah, 10 seconds of rend, and then critical hits will extend the duration of rend by 2 seconds, so it can go 12, 14. Hopefully it can just keep going up and up and up. Now, if you don't want crippling jabs, what you can do is, if you want more damage, just take finishing blows, 15% more damage against targets with less than 30% health. Or you can apply the slow here. So you can just pick and choose whatever one you want. Finishing blows just gives you more damage, and then crippling jabs, since you'll be using quite a lot of light attacks on people anyway that are close to you, you want to help slow them. So I've taken this more for the utility rather than damage, since there's already quite a lot of damage in the build. But again, you choose whatever one you would like. One thing to note is that you can't really take out any more traits in this tree because you need the traits to get the ultimate. If you take any of these points out to put into the other tree, you can't have this ultimate. So that is why there is this much points in this tree. That's really it for the build. I'm just gonna like kind of summarize it quick. What you want to try and do is be a backline DPS build with focusing on AoE damage with poison shot, rain of arrows, penetrating shot, just providing that range pressure that every group will need, and also picking targets off at long range. So you can place your AoEs down, use your skills on here, and then start auto attacking, applying range pressure. And then if people get close, or if you can get close to someone and do some CC, then you have Cyclone, Sweep, and Perforate to be doing damage and CC to people. Ties with the builds is just kind of, you just want to help defend the backline, really. You want to try and protect our mages, because our mages are going to be quite vulnerable since they're standing still to cast abilities. They're probably going to be quite squishy, a bit like you, but what you can come do is help defend them with the Spear CC. Yeah, just remember to place the AoEs down, so they're doing their job, and then you can switch and then help defend. Okay, right, that's it for this build, guys. Again, this isn't really as scripted as the other one, but I think the other one was kind of rushed, and you know, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of effort going into it. I don't know if that makes sense, but like that's how I feel. And yeah, I kind of want a bit of a longer video, so that's that. I'm gonna thank New World fans for providing with the website so that I can do this, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll probably see you in the next video. Oh, that reminds me, this is the last video of the kind of core build that I'm doing, because with my guild there's 5 like sort of core build, core roles that I want done, and then so now I can sort of do other builds and give my thoughts from, you know, just off builds, if that makes sense. So I have a build. There's a guy that put a comment on my tank video, I think, and I'm gonna go over that and make a video and put my thoughts from that guy. So if anyone does have like a build that they want me to look at, and I can sort of give my thoughts about it and make like my sort of version of your build, then well, just either post the video in the comments or you know, let me know, and I can maybe get around to doing that. So right, I'm gonna go. I'm rambling too much. I'll see you guys later. Bye.